Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Angus. Just finishing up my lunch. Got a nice dip of grizzly in. So that's what you see me doing here if you don't know what dip is. Snuff. And I was thinking, I had this really good conversation the other day with Rookie Critic. And I've been in chats and I've said this kind of sentiment before. But I just want to give my take on why fandoms go, quote unquote soy. Why you see diversity become an issue and having representation, all these little buzzwords happen. Hey, what's up, Senate? Yeah, it's been a while. Thanks for joining the chat. And I kind of have my answer. There's people have kind of said this stuff we've heard before. I just want to give my take. To put it bluntly, and if you're trying to like paraphrase or generalize to one sentence, it'd be keep bitches out of fandom. All right, some people, some women might just be like, you don't want women in fandom. It's like, no, that's not it. But it's a generalized statement. What I mean is, not that women are the problem necessarily of fandom, but they kind of accentuate in these male-dominated fandoms. This is something you don't have to worry about in like rom-coms or romantic novel fandom forums or something like that. Like all these kind of female-centric fandoms, like guys don't infiltrate like women do. The other way around to male-dominated fandoms. So like what happens, right? So we like to say alpha and beta, but really there's like alphas, there's like the supreme kind of leaders of business and whatnot, and there are betas that are kind of in the middle, and then there's the actual gammas that we think of, we vernacularized as betas and are taught. Pretty much everyone who's a nerd, who's like a geek into Star Wars, comics, whatever, Magic the Gathering, we're all betas. We're all the ones that we're on the bench as backups or whatever, last resort for dodgeball or basketball in school. And so, you can relate to that like kind of high school setting of dominance or whatever. Think of George Lucas. You think George Lucas was an alpha? Maybe because he was a hot rod guy, he liked mechanics and whatnot, he could pull some ways with the car. But when they probably talked to him, this dude's talking about history and mythology and all this nerd shit. He probably bored the fuck out of so many dates if he got them. I haven't read about his early life to know. But it's pretty easy to assume. You just see how in-depth he talks about certain things. He's very Ridley Scott about just the mechanics of the universe or pieces in the universe that he's built. But he became an alpha. He did so through ingenuity of mind, which always happens. The alphas are the guys in the Stone Age who were the brute cavemen we kind of mythicize, who brought home the bacon and had the harems. The betas, they're like, well, I can't match that physical prowess, so I have to use my brain. They're kind of like the Lex Luthor to Superman. And they become an alpha by finding abstract means to become necessities in society. Religion is an example, whether you think it's made up or it's real. It's continued by the shepherds of the flock. Those are kind of like betas who become alphas in their setting, or like Stan Lee or Lucas, where they make a mythology and they become an alpha in that realm, and like a standard bearer. That's what happens. Something like Batman gets made by nerds, by betas, who really love lore and stuff, but they work through a company and they get money, they get backing, or some fellow fans that have money. They get together and they make a movie and it's a success and becomes a pop icon. And it goes on here and there. You get Spider-Man, which has always been a top tier character because of relatability. You get X-Men. Then the game changer, you have Iron Man come out with a has-been star in Downey Jr. And then you have Captain America, you have Hulk, doesn't do well, Thor, and you have the Avengers make $1 billion. It's the first real $1 billion blockbuster since Transformers or Star Wars, And then the con conventions, they start pushing their movies they're making of the characters. And then you get like the pretty girls like Olivia Munn or something who cover geek stuff, who are, you know, actual geeks and whatever. They're already fans. That's the thing. Women who are fans of male franchises were already here. Generally speaking, some find it because it becomes popular and they really are fans, but a lot of them gravitate casually because it's popcorn fun. And then some of us betas, just like in high school where your friends, maybe there's a girl in your group, but then a puberty hits or whatever and you start chasing girls, it kind of breaks things up. Some guys worry about girls instead of their friends and whatnot, and everything dissipates. That's what happens with fandom. You have these guys who are like, I'm going to find my mate in this sphere that are interested in what I like. So let's take Star Wars. Then you get these betas who want to find that mate in Star Wars. And so then they start talking what they think appeals to ladies. They start talking feminism and diversity and this and that. Things that aren't really a factor in these fictional universes that are escapism. And so that brings in more, potentially, whether it's women or just, you know, soy-based people that weren't fans, and then they come in, they're like, well, there's nothing here for me. I need a fat lesbian to be in this lore now, or whatever. Things that have no real bearing on the story. You know, sexuality only matters in a lot of these stories, like Leia and Han being hetero because they have progeny, or Anakin with Padme because they have Luke Skywalker. So many times sexually matters. Because if you bog it down with actual sexual relations all the time, it'd be, you know, melodrama. It wouldn't be like mythical. It wouldn't be transcendent and universal so much. It's not meant to be love stories and everything and heartbreak. So yeah, those people, when they come in, they start changing everything because they think, oh, it needs to talk about this. That's why you get the orcs issue right now, where people again are saying orcs are a archetype for others, for other races or whatever. It's just, it gets wacky. So that's like kind of my long form drawn out thing about this. It's kind of inspired to actually talk about this because I saw this animation video of EVS on a stream talking about, we use these stories to give examples of masculinity, of things to strive for, of an ideal to achieve. Maybe it's completely unrealistic, but it's what you strive for. It's just like law, you know. Perfect justice and harmony is not real. Otherwise, you wouldn't need cops and laws and politicians to enact those stuff, and courts to interpret who's infringed on who. But we strive to maintain that system, that ideal that can never quite be reached. Let me check the chat because I see some of y'all coming in here. Let's see, we got the Sin, of course. Bernie Sanders said the American people were tired of women. I don't know if he said that, but it's funny. Oh, I'm not going soy. Price is right. If she breathes, she a thought. Yeah, that's the other thing. The thoughts, they come in. Thoughts happen in fandom because there'll be like that rare pretty girl with a bunch of, you know, sweaty guys, because that's usually what we all are. You know, like you play Magic, it's like, oh fuck, there's a hot girl playing Magic. Like, what is she doing in here? You know, it's a rare gem to find. You know, hot girls or whatever into these deep nerdy things, and so then they get put on a pedestal, so they always get the unfair advantage of attention, fan, whatever, despite maybe no real deep investment compared to the everyday fan. You know, so that's why you have it where men get so mad about like thoughts on Twitch taking over fandom when they're just kind of like, they just popped in, they haven't been here this whole time, they didn't care. Yeah, it's just some of my thoughts. Let's see if y'all got anything else to add before I go. Women only want a nice guy when she's always past her 30s and her Chad ex-husbands or boyfriends refuse to pay the rent or abuse them. So the nice guy is just a walking ATM. It's kind of MGTOW perspective. I get that, but I don't know. I don't quite buy into that. I'm not Christian, so I don't believe in, you know, some of that perspective about marriage and companionship, but it's part of our culture, even if you're not in those of that vein of thought. Angus Beef, what's up, 2nd Street? I saw your live. I was about to pop in. I'm like, I want to talk before I go back to work. Oh yeah, no problem, Prices Right. I don't quite subscribe exactly to what you're saying, but I definitely get that sentiment. I think it does have maybe some realism to it. Was, you know, yeah. How's everyone doing before I go? Let me check the time. Oh shit, I got a super chat. Cock meat. Hot damn. Thanks, Lethal. Well, I gotta get back to work for a couple hours. Talk to y'all later. Dozing off. Oh yeah, it was funny. Just something stupid. Something funny for y'all. Too much ass pain. That's something me and Lethal got a joke about. Be sure not to have too much ass pain, everyone. See y'all later. And thanks for super chat.